with the football game.
Tatum drives down and throws it down. Wow.
To throw, rainbows it down the right side for Kyle Pitts. He's got it. He's there. Touchdown. Oh, my.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sports Bits podcast. This week, got a nice little news segment for y'all. Talk about the Suns a little bit, and then we got a little news segment we're going to call Basketball Theory. So I guess we'll just jump right into it.
And we're back after our 2-week hiatus. We had Thanksgiving plus a lot of school stuff, but hopefully we can get back into a rhythm.
We're quite literally in the middle of finals.
We're in the middle of finals, but we're hopefully going to have an episode still next week. We'll make it work. Always, I'll try to make it work.
Absolutely.
We will see.
Right. So to kick it off, I guess we'll start with the Isaiah Stewart and LeBron James fight.
Yeah, that happened 2 weeks ago, but I still want to talk about it because
it was pretty intense.
It was violent.
From what I saw. Yeah, violent. it was straight
blood was dripping.
Mollywop.
So like you see
James.
you see like people like fighting the NBA. It's just like, I'm gonna fucking fight you. Like I'm gonna like get in your grill, and like no one's actually throwing punches until you see Isaiah Stewart bleeding from the eye.
Yeah. So I don't know.
There you go. Kind of a little graphic for YouTube.
Yeah. But for those who didn't see it, basically. There was a free throw. It was between the Pistons and the Lakers during a free throw. I forget exactly who was on the line, but Isaiah Stewart was getting boxed out by LeBron James, and then it looked like he threw a pretty hard elbow right into his eye, and then Isaiah Stewart started bleeding all over the place. They had to separate the teams multiple times. Isaiah Stewart did his best linebacker impression.
No, he did his big Derrick Henry impression of trucking through people.
He broke through like 3 security guards to try to get to LeBron. It was pretty intense overall. I mean, I know Isaiah Stewart now is kind of saying that he doesn't think it was an accident. LeBron apparently tried to reach out to him and talk about it, but Isaiah Stewart does not think it was an accident. So I don't know. What do you guys have to say about it?
I mean, for me, I think that it was clearly intentional that LeBron was trying to get him off of him. But he clearly went about it the wrong way, because of the situation that was happening. Mm-hmm. So I think that he didn't realize what he was doing, but was LeBron at fault? 100%.
Absolutely.
And I think that realistically, a lot of people are saying that Isaiah Stewart's second reaction, like when he was walking off the court, and then decided to charge at LeBron again. That it was an overreaction. In my opinion, I think that was valid because he didn't realize that there was blood dripping down his face at that point.
It was a lot.
And there was a lot.
It was a lot of blood. It looked like he punched him.
So he got heated all over again because he felt the blood on his face and was like, "Holy crap, I'm bleeding, and I want to kill LeBron now."
Yeah, and I think for me, what I did not like how the league handled this. They suspended Isaiah Stewart for 2 games. Mostly because of his reaction after, which I think that suspension was valid because, he charged at LeBron. I would have been pretty pissed, but, you
have to keep your composure.
You got to keep your cool. But they only suspended LeBron for 1 game, which I don't agree with at all. I think that was a pretty nasty hit, and I think that,
unnecessary.
Definitely unnecessary. So both players were ejected, obviously, pretty much instantly. But I feel like LeBron should have gotten punished a little bit more. They only suspended him for 1 game. I know it's LeBron, but still, they got to have some accountability for these players, I think.
I mean, he did kind of get his karma a little bit with that false positive test that he got.
Yeah, but they ended up letting him play because he got the whole.
Well, now he's able to play again.
Yeah. So, but I think definitely a weird situation. I didn't know that I was going to be watching the WWE at night, but that's what it ended up being like. More on the actual basketball side of news. Luke Walton just got fired.
Got fired 2 weeks ago. Again, this is like the 2 weeks ago news. We're trying to run through.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. Well,
we're trying to sequentially go through the stuff.
Right. So he got fired a few weeks ago from the Sacramento Kings. Alvin Gentry is now replacing him. Luke Walton, not a great record with the Kings at all.
Or the Lakers.
Did not do well
even
with the
with
Lakers
LeBron
either. I don't know too much about Luke Walton. I know you guys probably have more to say about that.
Yeah, the one thing that I will mention is that he was definitely, because he coached college, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was definitely a better college coach than he was NBA coach, because I vaguely did remember that. But when he first started with his head coaching positions on the Lakers, when he overtook that head coaching job, we kind of knew that he would struggle at the beginning, but like after going to a team that was significantly worse than the Lakers team that he had before on the Kings, you would assume that he would kind of work better with trying to develop these young guys on the Kings team to try and work better together cohesively and become a better unit. But I mean, if anything, they just seem to have gotten worse. And like that's just not good. Like Buddy Hield is still putting up production. Fox is trying to.
One of the best point guards in the league, in my opinion, defensively and offensively.
He would be if he didn't have a crappy coach and a crappy team. But
True.
so I mean, like there are players on there that like actually do put in the effort for it, but I mean they don't have the right guys for it, and they definitely did not have the right coach for it. I think Gentry is a good replacement, but. They are 3-3 currently under Gentry, and I think that it will be better off. Do I think that it will be significantly a big change from Luke Walton? Probably not, but I mean, I think there will be an improvement from Walton. To say the least.
So on Gentry, so he already held a couple assistant coaching jobs.
Can I say something about Luke real quick?
Yeah, go for it. I was gonna loop back to him.
Oh, you're gonna loop? Yeah, you can loop back then.
All right, yeah. So for Gentry, so he held a couple assistant coaching positions with the Pistons, Heat, Clippers, and the Suns. He actually coached under Mike D'Antoni, who is a phenomenal coach.
Yeah.
So you would expect for him to get some good experience out of that. He ended up getting fired from the Pelicans after their terrible bubble run, which, I mean, the bubble is something in and of itself. But so he was there since 2015, and then when they came back in the bubble, they had a horrible season for the restart, and then they ended up just firing him. He had to deal with regular Pelicans issues. He had to deal with an Anthony Davis injury, a DeMarcus Cousins injury. So, I mean, I think that the Pelicans, I think it's kind of hard to really put a lot of blame on him for that.
Yeah.
They had, I think, his entire coaching tenure there, I think he had to use over 140 different starting lineups, which is just insane. He just did not have the right assets, players, anything to work with them. But he ended up getting fired. Now he's with the Sacramento Kings. But so as for Luke Walton, I know he just did not have a very good run with the Kings at all. He was 68 and 93, 26th in defense. I know you said you wanted to talk more about Luke Walton.
I mean, again, James pretty much summed it up, but also, I don't know how when I first saw Luke get hired, I didn't see why they hired him because there was really no potential coming off the Lakers. He didn't really utilize his talent. Again, that's what we were talking about. Kyle Kuzma his talent didn't get utilized. And
they did hire him because he was an assistant, but I agree. I don't think that's enough to make him a head coach.
No, but also that was the point of what I was saying about Kyle Kuzma's talent got underutilized, and also his play style got underutilized, and that's partly because of Luke Walton because he doesn't know how to manage his roster or his talents. His lineups are terrible from what I've seen. I can't think of any specific examples, but point being, I think I saw one time on the Lakers at least, he was trying to put Lonzo and LeBron at the same time, when they're both usually facilitators when it comes to the offense. And I think it would have been better for them to have Lonzo on the bench managing, or just have him off the court. Have him individually on the court. Not at the same time. Point being, that was a terrible lineup they had. I couldn't fucking put the words because. Yeah, Luke Walton was terrible. I couldn't watch him. His lineups were garbage, and he did the same thing with the Kings. And it seems like with the Kings, he tried to play a lot of the young talent a lot, but Marvin Bagley, I don't like Marvin Bagley in general. He's not a really good player, so I wouldn't have given him minutes, but he did. I don't know. Again, his lineups were terrible. I think that's the main reason why he's not a good coach. It's just his lineups are garbage. Mm-hmm. And again, is there a future for Luke Walton in the league? I hope not, because
probably not.
Unless he wants to be an assistant and relearn everything that he needs to learn.
Or commentate with his dad.
That too. That too.
I think that's really the only thing that I can see him doing right now. Yeah. I feel like after the horrendous run with the Kings and a very subpar to mediocre run with the Lakers, I do not really see why a team would want to go after him. Yeah. So I think that he's done in terms of coaching.
Yeah.
But so moving on, more firings. Why did you delete that?
Oh no, I was gonna move that to the end because it's more recent. It was just as of this morning.
Okay,
so I'm
fair
going to do
enough.
the little...
I was like about to talk about something,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this man just deletes a whole paragraph.
no. It's all for
all right, so
sequential,
yeah,
sequential sake.
We'll come back to that. All right. So
There we go.
I guess if we're talking more in terms of chronological order, John Wall right now with the Rockets. First off, Rockets, terrible start to the season. Is it going to get any better? Probably not.
Nope.
But John Wall, is he coming back? Who knows? Because right now the Rockets are paying him $44 million to sit on the bench. 5-time All-Star point guard sitting on the bench of a team that's currently leading the league in turnovers right now.
Yeah.
I don't really see the
Appeal.
not even appeal, I guess, thought process is the word I'm looking for. I don't understand why you would, because here's the thing: is John Wall gonna go back to his prime? No, of course not. He's coming off of 2 really bad injuries, and he's getting old. But is he gonna be a better point guard than most of the 20-something-year-olds on the Rockets? Probably, I think. When he came back for about 40 games last season, he averaged 20 points and 7 assists.
Yeah, he's 31, so...
That's not even that old, but he's
No.
coming off of some bad injuries, so...
He hasn't been in the league for a couple of years. So.
Well,
Yeah, he was out for 2 years and then came back last season, had a relatively productive 40 games, as I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But, now he's sitting on the bench right now. And the Rockets said that they wanted to go young with KPJ and Jalen Green. They just drafted second pick. And they wanted to get these guys some touches with the ball, but I don't understand why they would keep John Wall on the bench like that and pay him all this money.
Well, the reason why I wrote this in is because, so originally in the beginning of the season, John Wall did not want to play. He wanted to sit out the whole season. But recently, as of, I think, 3-4 days ago, he met with the GM the Rockets front office, and he's talking about potentially coming back.
He wants to play.
He wants to play
wants to
again,
play now.
which is completely different than what his agent originally said in the beginning of the season. So I guess he had changed his mind. You really don't want to have $44 million rotting on your bench. You might as well play him some minutes.
That's what I'm saying. And also, this is a relatively good point guard, and right now he's sitting on the bench of a team that's leading the entire league in turnovers.
I think his facilitation
You really think
skills could really be beneficial for this
absolutely.
team.
And I think that now that KPJ is starting point guard, he has never played the point guard position. I think he has a lot to learn from John Wall. And right now he's just sitting on the bench.
Yeah, I do think that a lot more is going on behind closed doors. We know that John Wall's showing up at practices. So,
And he sits on the bench for every game.
Yeah, so there's no doubt in my mind that he is trying to help improve the players on the Rockets team. But I think that he ultimately knows that he wants to leave. So, it's a matter of time before he leaves. He just teaches the stuff that he can to the younger guys on the Rockets. That's pretty much all I have to say about
And I think in terms of him leaving right now, he does not make a very good case as to why another team would want him.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been playing for a while. So I
He's
don't...
refusing to play for a team.
Yeah, so I don't really see... Well, to be fair, also, the Rockets did say specifically that they didn't want him to play also.
Right.
It was more of a mutual decision, I think,
Yeah, it
in
was
terms of him
mutual.
not playing.
He felt more
but-
strongly about it than they did.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
That's
probably
true.
true. But I don't really understand why.
It doesn't make any sense.
And like I said, he's not making a good case for him to come back to another team. I don't really see another team being like, oh, we really want John Wall right now,
Yeah.
No.
I don't really see that. And is he going to get $44 million from another team? Absolutely not.
No.
No way. No chance.
I guess the one small thing I wanted to write in at least, DeMarcus Cousins got signed by the Bucks for 1 year. Are we surprised? No, I don't think DeMarcus Cousins is going to make an impact.
No,
To the
he's like ring chasing right now. He wants a ring.
Yeah, and I
He
think
wants a ring.
they already have Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez who are great centers for what they need. So I don't
Brook
really.
Lopez is actually out indefinitely now. He just got surgery, I think, on his
Maybe
wrist
that's why they
or
signed him. Maybe that's
back.
why they signed him, huh? No, I'm kidding. They probably play Giannis at the 5 and then Bobby Portis at the back.
Giannis at the 5 was working well for them, but that's a different conversation. But so
yeah.
he played 15 minutes as his first game back, got about, I think, 4 points, 7 boards. So impactful, mediocre.
He's old and he sucks.
There you go.
His Achilles injury screwed his whole career. So
Multiple
And
injuries,
his
multiple
diviness.
injuries.
It's
Diva.
Yeah, he
It's
is, he
diva.
is a little bit of an emotional. What was it? I think I saw like one of those like Jimmy Kimmel meme tweets
Yeah.
where they call them like an emotional lesbian.
Yeah.
Which
Oh
like,
my
I can
God.
I can totally see that.
It's safe for YouTube, so we can safe for us to say. It's safe for Jimmy Kimmel to post it. We can post it. So
But yeah. moving forward.
move forward to the next segment.
Neil,
question.
Neil O'Shea got fired.
Was this the misconduct stuff?
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you just wrote it in. So
Yeah,
I
so
didn't.
their Portland GM just got fired for the
Yeah,
Trailblazers.
so way back on November 6th, The Athletic posted an article about investigating Olshey. Is that how you said it?
Yeah, O'Shea.
Yeah.
So they posted an article about him talking about his workplace misconduct. They didn't really say much else about it because obviously the Blazers didn't really want to comment on it.
Behind closed doors,
Of course, as everything is. But so they moved forward with the investigation, and as of today, December 3rd, I was literally sitting in class when I got a Twitter notification that they fired him. So he's out. I didn't see who they replaced him with. I'm sure that they have an interim GM right now. You can't really go without one of those.
Yeah.
They cited his temper as a concern. Blazers staff members didn't like the way that he was talking to them. Apparently, he would use profanity, kind of get heated in the practice facility, yada, yada, yada.
Maybe use of wrong language around some people.
Possibly, very possible. But I think the reason why I mainly wanted to bring this up is because we've seen... So Robert Sarver just got released, fired from the Suns a few weeks ago. James is pretty happy about that.
God, I hate Sarver so
But
much.
now it seems like the NBA and these organizations are kind of cracking down on this workplace misconduct stuff.
Oh, which is great.
They're not. Yeah, they're not
so
taking.
good.
They're not taking this crap from these people. They're thinking that they're kind of hot shit for lack of a better term. But no, I think that now that the league and the organizations are kind of holding some accountability for them, I think it's good.
And I think we really started to see this trend kind of come to fruition with the Donald Stern case and back in Lob City days with the
Yeah,
Clippers.
way back in 2015, 16.
So people are definitely making it more apparent now, and I'm so happy that Sarver's out. I could not stand him for the longest time. Obviously, I'm so happy that they're getting a lot of these GMs out that are having terrible workplace misconduct. And I think that it's going to ultimately be more beneficial for the league. And I think that they're going to bring in a lot more opportunities for people who might not have been looked at for the positions before. So,
And probably
Yeah.
deserve it.
Yeah, and probably do deserve it.
And it's tough to kind of this is just like a regular workplace thing, not just exclusive to basketball. But if you have a guy who's coming in and just yelling at everybody, angry all the time, doesn't appreciate
It's not a good
any
work
of the employees,
environment.
of course, and no one's gonna want to work for that. And I mean, we've seen it now because the Blazers have had pretty lackluster seasons.
100%.
I don't remember exactly when he got hired. I think it was somewhere in 2012. I think Olshey got hired, and
Bless you.
that was right around when Dame was also drafted, if I'm not mistaken, 2011.
2011.
Ish. Yeah, so right around when Dame was drafted, obviously the centerpiece for the Blazers, and they've had pretty lackluster seasons. So hopefully now with a new GM coming in, they can actually start to make some moves.
True that.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, it said y'all pretty much said what I wanted. So
Yeah.
that stuff.
So speaking of Robert Sarver and his former team, right now we got the Suns on a hot 18-game win streak right now.
That's man's happy.
They just beat the Warriors with Steph and without Book.
They actually just beat the Pistons last night.
I was
Yeah.
really worried about you guys. I didn't think you were going to be able to beat them.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Adds to the record.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
so,
yeah, we did beat the Nets and Warriors back to back for games, and which was really big. Actually got a pretty good win on the Warriors with a near 10-point lead.
And I'm pretty sure Book exited in the third quarter.
Book exited in roughly around the third quarter.
And Mikhail Bridges held Steph Curry to one of his worst shooting nights of his entire career.
Yep, which was amazing. I think this right now, at least before Clay comes back, and we see what his production is like. It is without a doubt that the Suns are the best team in the league right now. They already have the tiebreak over the Warriors right now with the record sitting at 19-3.
Yep.
Actually 20-3 now, I think, because of the win last night.
They're
But-
19-3 with the win.
19-3 is updated.
Okay, bet.
So depending
Yeah.
on how they play tonight, which they're
Perfect.
playing the Warriors again tonight.
They are playing the Warriors again tonight. So hopefully we beat the Warriors. And so yeah, they're 19-3, which is amazing. And like I said, I think without a doubt right now, the Suns are the best team in the league. And the Warriors are a very, very close second, even without Clay. But for me personally, I need to see Clay's production once he comes back to really see if the Warriors are solidified as like basically going to the
Finals
championship
contender,
again.
finals
Yeah.
contenders. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that it's so great to see, and I'm so happy that the Suns are doing good. And I screw all you haters that said that the Suns were going to suck this season.
A lot of people did say they were going to be rusty
Yep.
coming in
I was pissed about
after a
that,
pretty
so
after a
glad to prove
relatively
y'all
bad
wrong.
postseason exit.
You know, some
Made it to the finals. But
yeah. Some players to mention though. Ayton, third season in a row, averaging a double-double, which is fucking amazing. Booker, player of the week last week, and currently shooting 50-50-90, which is probably some of the best that we've seen him shoot in his entire career. If he can keep this up for the next month or so, then they'll be in a really good spot for All-Star break. And CP3 is leading in assists and is tied for second right now for steals. So, I mean, CP3 is playing like he's 23 again. You know, I think that their Suns' production is higher than it's ever been, and hopefully we get close to make the finals again, and hopefully we do make the finals again. But yeah.
yeah, I think right now definitely the teams to watch in the Western Conference, Suns and Warriors, absolutely. I mean, right now, like you said, Chris Paul coming in possibly Defensive Player of the Year right now, second in assists right now. Mikhail Bridges also, I know you didn't really agree with this, but he's a dark horse candidate for
like
Defensive
Now,
Player of the
Again,
Year.
this is me watching the Suns game. Again, like I've watched Mikhail Bridges in the rotation. Look at his reach and his overall like impact as a player on the switch, and also just one-on-one. He's insane.
100%. And for me, as a Suns player, I freaking love Mikhail Bridges. I would love to see him get DPOY. Now, the reason why I don't think that he might is because based off of the trends that we've seen from a lot of the previous awards have been given through like mainly just stats. And so like
Which is not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's not
It should be
fair.
a part of it, but not as
Yeah.
big as overall impact.
100% agree. But I mean, based off of the trends, I personally don't see Bridges winning DPOY right now, but I would love if he did. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I think mostly the reason why I think he's in the conversation right now is because of his his perimeter defense and, like you said, the switches right now. He's not racking up a crazy amount of steals, even though he did have 7 the other night against the Nets. So he's definitely getting some steals, right? But
I think
it's
he's
just
averaging
I mean,
1.6 right now.
something like that, yeah. But I mean, his arms, like his reach, his wingspan,
he has a massive
is
wingspan.
crazy.
I think he's
You know?
like, what is he, like 6'6", and I think he has like almost a 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah, that's like insane. The man can just step into any passing lane. You know, you
Wow.
can't get anything past him.
Yep, he's basically Kevin Durant who plays better defense. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna look at his wingspan right now. His wingspan is
6'10", gotta be, right?
he's 6'6". Where's his wingspan? I guess Basketball Reference doesn't have that.
Just Google.
Let's Google it. True. I was like hoping that Basketball Reference does have that, but yeah, Basketball Reference. Get wingspan on as one of your.
Yeah, so his wingspan
Profile.
is 7'1".
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
I think you nailed that.
Wild,
right
yeah.
there.
So wider than
So-
Durant? Is Durant 7 foot?
Durant's like
6'11",
6'11".
7 foot,
I
but-
think he calls himself like 6'12".
Yeah.
Whatever. the hell. Yeah. But yeah, he has like a crazy amount of reach.
Wild, yeah.
You know, and yeah, not to mention, like I know we mentioned a few times, but the switches, he is really good on the switch.
Yes.
He is really good on the switch. Like just because, I mean, he's 6'6", so he's not like super big, but he's not getting bullied out in the paint.
Oh, for
by
sure.
any means,
Yeah.
For sure.
You know, so definitely right now. But I think last thing we want to talk about with the Suns are two things. I know this you would have more to say about this,
Yeah.
but are they going to pay DeAndre Ayton?
Yeah, that is definitely the one like issue that's kind of revolving around the Suns right now a little bit is like when are we gonna pay Ayton? Because like
Man needs to get paid.
dude needs to get paid. Dude needs to get paid a lot. And
Do they have money?
Well, they do have the money for it. It's just more or less like, do they really want to pay Ayton?
Didn't they just pay Mikhail Bridges like money over
They did
there?
give him a max extension.
They gave him a max extension, and like the fact that they haven't given Ayton that for me is disappointing.
I think Ayton deserves it more than Mikhail
I
Bridges.
personally would agree as well.
In my opinion.
So I mean, I don't know.
Mikhail Bridges is a great player, but I think that if you had to pick one, I would go with DA.
I agree. So it's been frustrating to have to sit back here and watch them not pay Ayton. And like I've been looking at his contracts and stuff, and like he's getting paid well, but like he definitely deserves to get paid more than he does. I think he's getting paid around $12 a year. And he definitely should be up in like the 18 conversation.
And I think he knows that.
Yeah.
So my question is, or not my question, but I guess my thought process would be, if the Suns don't offer him more money, is he going to stay with the Suns?
Now that is
No.
very questionable, and I
No.
would love to say that he's going to stay. But
Of
he
course,
probably
because
wouldn't.
he's a great piece.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he's only getting paid 12 a year and averaging a 20 and 10 double-double,
Yeah, he's
We all
he
know.
knows he's worth more than that.
We all know Sam Presti's gonna like pay him a max and trade him immediately. So we all know that if he doesn't come back to the Suns, Sam Presti's gonna step on that and try to get some value out of
I
it.
hope that they pay him, and they pay him well, and he doesn't get traded or leave the team. 'Cause, he's a great piece to have.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But back to the Suns' 18-game win streak real quick. So the Heat currently hold the record for the longest win streak in the NBA with 27 games straight with a dub.
That's true.
Are the Suns going to be able to beat that?
Yes.
course you say
Like obviously I'm
Of
gonna
course
say
it is,
yeah.
of course
Yeah. Obviously I'm gonna say yes, but realistically saying, do I think that they could get close? 100%.
Actually, let's look at their next. How many games? 9 games, right?
Yeah.
Or
I
actually,
don't know
no,
what the
9.
rest
It's
of
even
their-
8 games because they beat the Pistons, so they have 8 more games till the to tie the record,
And
right?
they're playing the Warriors tonight. I don't know what the rest of their slate looks like.
I can look at that right now. So it's gonna be Warriors tonight. Spurs. So 8 games. So Spurs, Celtics, Clippers, Blazers, Wizards, Hornets. Is that 8? 2, 4.
I think the only team that stood out
And
right there to
Lakers.
me-
They play Lakers as their last game before
I
they
think
tie the record.
the only teams that I could see beating the Suns based off of that slate right now
the Hornets.
would be, I was gonna say the Clips.
Yeah, maybe the Clippers.
Clippers at home could
Clippers,
be an underrated
Warriors if Steph doesn't have his poor of a
we'll see
game.
tonight.
game. Oh no, yeah, the battle of the Titans or whatever you want to call it.
But do I think that's feasible? 100%.
Feasible for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like.
this slate says otherwise because they're playing the Wizards, Hornets, and the Clippers at home. I mean, if
you
the Celtics
just
were at home,
Said that about 5 seconds ago.
but also I was gonna say the Celtics at home too, but they're not playing the Celtics at home. So
I don't know why you think
Well,
that
also,
the
I don't think
Suns
that
would
the
lose to the
Suns are
Celtics,
gonna
but
Celtics are 5th in defense this year, so they're doing
Suns
already
are the
good.
best team in the league. Period.
I don't know about that, but
It's proven.
record-wise, yeah. Otherwise,
Anyway.
you can make an argument for the Warriors.
All right.
Wait, do we want to have a little impromptu debate here? Who we think the best team in the league is right now?
I mean, I would have to argue for the Warriors, and I'm not prepped for that. But I just like I would say it's not
All right, well,
it's
let's-
not
let's
as far
hear
as
it.
people think.
Let's hear it. Right now. New segment, okay? Impromptu debate. Right now we got Suns best team in the league. We got I almost said
wait.
Celtics.
Not Celtics, the Warriors.
best team in the league. Frankly, I don't know. I'm leaning more towards Warriors, but I would like to hear what you guys have to say.
I mean, like,
what did I just knock over?
I think that the production side on the Suns has been a lot greater and more efficient than the Warriors been. I think that the only two people that you can really testify have been like overshooting their mark, and to an extent, like Steph Curry is just Steph Curry, so he's going to be constantly doing that. But the player that I'm really referring to is Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's been making a massive step up for the Warriors for them. So I think that those are the two players that you could say that have been really affecting the Warriors type of play. But once Clay comes back, I mean, Jordan Poole's going to be on the bench immediately.
Probably.
But
Or they can run Clay at 3. They could do a Curry, Poole, Clay, Draymond. I don't know what. Actually, Draymond would probably be the 5 even. If you think about it,
Bring back their
small ball
death
lineup, their small ball death lineup with Draymond at the 5. They could do that.
Because right now they have Kevin Looney at the 5.
No.
That's something.
I don't personally see that working right now, especially since that's been a couple years since they've tried to do that. like I said, I just don't see as many players putting up the numbers for efficiency and overall play type for winning games, and that's why the Suns have been on a 18-game win streak and the Warriors haven't. So.
Huh.
Right,
I just want to note. I'm going to note this out. Steph Curry has the highest defensive win shares out of the whole team at 1.4, and that's surprising because Draymond is 1.3, and and Draymond's still an amazing defender. That was just a side point. But the one thing I did want to highlight: the Warriors are the first team, the best team in defensively this year. They're the number 1 defense, and they're the number 3 offense, which is higher than the Suns because the Suns are 6th in offense and 4th in defense.
Why did we beat them?
You didn't beat them yet.
We did beat them.
Beat them the
we
other
literally
night.
beat them the other night.
You play them tonight.
No,
We beat them by 10 the other night.
That was when Steph had a really poor game. Remember, he shot like...
Get locked up, kid.
True. Again, we'll see.
Booker didn't even play really.
Yeah, so...
It's like 5 points.
So my thing is... Okay, so I didn't know that Booker had 5 points. That is news to me. That actually kind of just invalidates what I was just about to say. What I was about to say...
Booker is insane.
Well, what I was
Shot
about to
creator.
say was... Suns are on an 18-game win streak. Is Devin Booker going to shoot 50, 50, 90 for the rest of the season?
No.
Probably
No,
not.
no.
Probably not.
Yeah. Even I will be
But-
realistic by saying that.
Yeah,
No.
so I don't think that. But, I mean, the fact that they did beat the Warriors with Devin Booker having a relatively lackluster game from what it sounds like. You pulling up his box score right now? Because, I would like to see
Again,
that.
honestly, even if they did beat them, but they're still the 3rd team in offense and the 1st team in defense, even after losing to the Suns, which is still saying a lot because you think their rating would go down after getting smoked by the Suns. You think about it, usually after having a terrible performance, usually your rankings would drop. But that shows how solid their overall team is, regardless of one game that they lost to, which is, of course, the Suns, which is, people will say, is the
Booker had
best
10
team.
points.
Okay,
So-
yes, that's not even good production.
Chris
relative
Paul
to
had
what he usually
15
does.
with 11 assists.
Yeah, double blazer.
DeAndre Ayton had 24 points with 11 boards.
Interesting.
Jay Crowder had 14 points with 6 boards.
Is that-
Mikhail Bridges had 2 points.
I know
So
he
does
had
that
2
say-
points. That man is on my fantasy team. He played 41 minutes.
Let's
Cameron
see what
Johnson
my-
had 14 points.
let's see what
Everybody on
my
the team
fantasy
did
team-
well because we played as a cohesive unit, whereas the Warriors did not that night. And we beat them.
The Warriors do
Where is-
have, in my opinion, better team ball for the
Overall.
They have better. They have
Overall.
100. I will admit
Overall.
they have 100% better ball movement than us. They have the best ball movement in the league, other than maybe the Bulls right now. But like I said, just like the overall production side on the Suns is greater than the Warriors right now.
I mean-
we will on offensively. Yes, you're ranked 3rd in the league, but if you're watching our games, you can see that when we take our time with trying to make sure that we're getting the right shot and not
Yeah.
getting stupid shots and taking contested ones unless it's Booker,
I
because
think-
Booker will make everything in somebody's face.
I think it doesn't help that the Suns are basically a counter for the Warriors in the sense they have the biggest big man that could ever bully Draymond in the paint, which is why you said, again, he brought up 25 points for, what is it, 25 points for Ayton?
24.
24. Point being, it seemed like the perimeter defense is pretty solid. You could tell by the performance. But then the interior defense is a problem for the Warriors, it seems like, after that game, considering that, I mean, Draymond did all right, but he's your center. Imagine putting Draymond on DeAndre Ayton where, there's basically a half a foot advantage.
Yeah, it's
over
gonna
that.
be tough.
Even with him
Draymond.
being the bully man donkey that he is, I don't think he could stop Ayton for how much
does
we've
look
seen
like- he
Ayton
does
bully
look like
people
Donkey
last
from Shrek.
playoff.
I'm
But
just saying that, for a team that was number one in defense, we locked the hell out of them up. So
again, that's why I'm saying they're probably only counter to the Warriors is DeAndre Ayton, because I really don't think the Suns without DeAndre Ayton is gonna beat the Warriors.
Curry had 10 points.
I said without DeAndre Ayton,
Mikhail Bridges locked up Curry. He guarded
Mikhail
Curry.
Bridges had
Ayton didn't guard Curry.
and Mikhail Bridges had 2 points. Point being, I'm
Yeah.
just saying if you had to put them together without Ayton, I think they would obviously. I think my personal opinion, I think the Warriors would beat them. But I think with Ayton, the Suns are obviously a better team 1-on-1. If you had to put it in a bubble, those two.
Well,
at
he's
each
on the
other.
team, so then there you go. There you just said it. That the Suns are better. So
Suns are better unless Ayton gets injured, which hopefully doesn't happen because I actually want to see the Suns do
Don't
well.
speak that. Yeah, don't speak that into existence.
Don't speak that into existence because I actually want to see the Suns do well this year because again,
you.
continuity or not continuity, but what's the word for rapid change or whatever the hell. It's not like just one team's dominating, but there's a lot of like fluidity and stuff in the league. There's a word for that.
I know what you mean.
You know what
I know what you're trying to get at.
Yeah, I like having.
I don't know
I like.
if the- I don't know
I
if
like
the
having
word
that in
is
the
for
NBA, not just having one team dominate, but there's multiple teams.
Competitiveness. Competitiveness. It's like good competitiveness because like if
God,
I mean,
what is it?
when you watch the Warriors win like go to the finals for like 3-4 straight years, that kind of gets a little boring.
Yeah, I forgot the word. Point being,
the
I like
Cavs
having
as well.
that. So hopefully the Suns
Yeah.
don't win. Again, they're both really good teams. Again, like just like the Suns, Paul Nash, Bay, we're arguing very minuscule things. I think they're both really good teams, and I think there's only like the Suns are really only a one step above the Warriors.
That's why I tried to emphasize when we were talking about the Sun streak that like right now I think that they're the best team in the league because like obviously if Clay comes back and he's like pulls a KD and he's like better than he was when he was before he was injured. Like obviously the Warriors are going to be the best team in the league, but like for right now I'm going to ride the pine.
He's gonna ride the wave.
Yeah.
Ride the wave.
Ride the 18-game win streak.
Yeah,
right now.
The Suns wave.
Enjoy
19
it.
or 19. Wait, did they just win last night against Pistons? So it's
It was,
19.
no, it was 7.
Yeah, I think it's 19.
I think it's 19 now,
I
right?
think it's 19 now after the Pistons win.
Okay, whatever they're at, they've won a lot
Whatever
of
they're
games
at.
in a row.
They should be 20-3 right now, I think.
18 win streak. It's 18.
Yeah, and they're 19-3.
So, all right, that's really an impromptu debate.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, impromptu segment right there. All
Impromptu
right, so
segment.
I guess we could tie this back with the Warriors and changing their lineups a little bit with how they're going to do that. But right now, we want to talk about a little bit of basketball theory. I guess that's what we're going to call it for now.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah,
But
'cause-
we're going to talk about positions, and we're going to talk about what the positions mean. And basically, right now in 2021-2022 season, are we seeing teams playing positionless basketball?
how do you want to start off with like?
I guess I can kind of.
How do you want to start this? Because again, this is like kind of what we thought
I mean,
last
it's-
minute.
yeah, literally
This is
last
honestly.
minute,
This is
but
also impromptu to the story time. I don't know if you wanted to talk about it with the DeMarcus Cousins thing going down.
Oh, yeah,
might as well
Rob,
just
bring
like
that up a little bit.
talk about that.
We
real
did say in the last podcast we were going to bring this up.
Yeah, so
this-
I mean,
story
like,
time.
last podcast, real quick. This is a very quick story, but last podcast we were talking about Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins a little bit, and we talked about DeMarcus Cousins real quick in this podcast. But basically, I had a couple of years ago, I was in high school, and I went with a couple of my friends to a Knicks game because I had a couple season tickets for the Knicks, and we ended up going to the game. It was Knicks versus Pelicans. DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis were both playing that night, so we were excited to go to the game. It was going to be fun. We figured that the Pelicans were actually going to smack the Knicks. I think the Knicks ended up winning, and I had pretty good seats, so we could see the court pretty good. And just the funniest thing happened. So we were there for a Shaq and a Fool moment, which was pretty funny, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was nice to it was nice to see it while I was like actually there, because I've never experienced that kind of thing before, but it's actually really funny if you're at the game. But basically, there was 2 malfunctions by DeMarcus Cousins there, and
Who is a Shaq and a Fool regular?
yeah, he is.
JaVale McGee and DeMarcus Cousins.
So DeMarcus Cousins inbounds the ball, and both Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins are bringing up the ball, so they're coming from backcourt, and they are walking, and then they start jogging at the same time synchronously, which is pretty funny. But then, like, literally one play later, DeMarcus Cousins is bringing up the ball, and he's just, like, acting like a point guard for some reason.
Because we all know that DeMarcus Cousins can play.
Right, and so Anthony Davis posts up on the high post, and DeMarcus Cousins just like it totally has a brain malfunction. He grabs the ball, picks up the ball from dribbling, and takes 2 steps and like a clear travel. Ref doesn't call it. Passes the ball to Anthony Davis. Defender's right there, just like absolutely goes right into his hands perfectly and steals the ball and goes down for a fast break layup. It was the worst thing. It sounds a lot weirder than
It's
me
like
explaining
a you had
it.
to be there moment.
A little bit, but we'll throw up the clip.
We'll try to find the clip. I don't know if they will have it, but
I think we will be able to
be
find the
able
clip. But yeah, it's a really funny moment, and we just started geeking the entire time while we were at that game. It was a great time.
Which is why I wanted to transition to this.
So
Again,
yeah, this did have some relevance.
this is some relevance because I wanted to tie this to the point of how again in the 2000s, big men were the thing. Of course, Shaquille O'Neal and everything, having big men dominate the NBA, and then basically transitioning to when the Warriors came up when Curry started to become Curry, and basically dominating the perimeter and basically having, big men become useless essentially because the perimeter was so powerful when Curry came into the league, and basically saying, hey, if we can shoot threes and make them at a more efficient rate, why would we have big men that are basically useless on the perimeter?
Fair.
So, and that's the point where we brought up about positionless basketball now, because at this point, would you rather have a center that can switch really well and play on the perimeter rather than like a big man like DeMarcus Cousins who only can play in the paint? That's essentially why I wanted to bring that up after that story. And my first thought is obviously we are playing a position basketball era, and I'd rather take the perimeter over the
Yeah, I mean,
position.
like for me, I think definitely with like the way that the NBA is like kind of rolling right now, that I would agree with Mokes. I think that that's probably the best way to go about it. That getting a center who can shoot on the perimeter would be a better idea, and maybe even could defend a little bit on the perimeter. But I mean, I definitely think that both have their benefits. It's just because like we've seen somebody like Valanciunas. It would be a good example for that, because like he was all about old school basketball. Literally did not do anything except in the paint or in the post. It was ridiculous. And now he's transitioned a little bit to shooting a little bit more, but he still has that kind of old head tendency. So I mean, like, and he's producing amazing this year. Probably the best that he's done in a long ass time. So
would we count Draymond as that? As the one of the first type of big men who played perimeter-centric basketball.
I think Draymond was a very good example of this positionless basketball because he is 6'7" and played the 5.
Yeah.
So I think that, he kind of broke a lot of the molds for like what it is to be a typical big man. Usually you'd be pretty hard pressed to find an NBA team right now that doesn't have a 7-foot center.
It's true.
It's
true.
So the Warriors are doing it now. I actually don't know exactly how tall Kevin Looney is, but he's definitely taller than 6'7".
I think he's like 6'11".
Something like
6'10",
that. So yeah,
6'11".
around there, like a normal height for a center, right? But yeah, I think that Draymond kind of broke a lot of the mold for that, and it obviously worked for the Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, also, if you stuck Draymond in any other system, would he work as well? Probably not.
No.
Because he can also pass relatively well.
He passes better than any other big man.
Yeah, so
maybe not like Jokic, but
he kind of, in my opinion, broke a lot of that mold. But I think another good example would be you were talking about Valanciunas. I kind of wanted to mention Vucevic.
Vucevic would be a good
Vucevic, I think, is solid because he is kind of like on the cusp of playing center/stretch 4.
Yeah.
Kind of, but he shoots threes. He's pretty good in the mid range as well.
Just dominates on boards.
And he's absolute glass cleaner. So I think it's really important to have that like ability to stretch the floor, because if you can't, then I mean it's just like Rudy Gobert. He's pretty.
He's a prime example of the old school style.
Exactly.
Big man position.
It's working for them in the regular season, but then as soon as the Jazz get to the playoffs, they're a first round exit. I'm pretty sure for the past couple years now. So obviously it's not working. Because it's easy to defend Gobert.
Right.
Okay, you got to stick just a big body on him. He can't shoot anywhere outside the paint. He's going to grab a lot of rebounds for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, he's pretty easy to defend. And then also if if you get a switch on him, you send him to the free throw line, and he's a terrible free throw shooter as well. I think it's really important to have a big man that's able to do a lot, as opposed to just having, sticking some 7'2", 7'3", however tall Gobert is. Being able to get 5 blocks a game, sure, but if he can't shoot, he's an easy offensive liability.
I agree.
And I think I wanted to cap off this segment with: will we ever see the big men return to the NBA?
I hope so.
Ever?
I don't see
I think
it.
ever, yes, but not
the only
currently.
reason why I don't see it right now is because of the stress on the 3-point shot right now. Like once Curry came in, it was pretty much like just threes all day.
Yeah.
Everyone's shooting threes. Everyone wants a 3-point shot. You always want a guy who can shoot threes. Like Klay Thompson is an incredibly valuable asset because he pretty much only shoots threes. Duncan Robinson.
An older reference that probably started the trend was Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, kind of like was the forefather of
the
really good 3-point
three-point shooting.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller was
Miller,
also
yeah.
in that conversation as well. So yeah, I don't see the big man coming back only because of the stress on the 3-point shot.
Yeah, that's fair. I would hope that it comes back at some point, just because like I personally love seeing a big man, and like my favorite type of basketball was like getting big man like the ball in the post, and like guards and forwards taking as many mid-range shots as possible. Like early 2000 basketball, like a little bit in the 90s too.
Yeah.
Like that was like my favorite kind of basketball to play. Like that kind of style I felt like was really physical. It made it entertaining, and it was always like a close match, and there was always defense. You know, like no one ever like you never would see a 140 to 139 game. I mean, like,
Well,
that's,
I think
yeah.
that also the defense is part of it, as not seeing the big man come back,
Yeah.
because we're seeing a lot of foul calls. Less this season now
Thank God.
because
Yeah.
they changed that. So I think that if anything's going to be able to bring the big man back, I think it's going to be that new foul rule change. But
Yeah.
I mean, right now, you see these guys, they're just putting up 15, 16 free throws a game, and I don't see that kind of like defensive intensity coming back.
Yeah.
And also with the new age of like technology, looking at basketball analytics, people, a lot of the basketball operations staff members from all these organizations are telling their players just kind of stay away from the mid-range shot because it's considered inefficient.
Right.
Because they're saying it's either a 3 or you want that high percentage in the paint shot.
Yeah.
Because they're saying like, well, why would we shoot a 16-foot mid-range shot as opposed to getting a 9-foot layup, basically. Yeah, I mean these are NBA players. They can make shots all day.
Yes.
But no, so I personally I do not see the big man coming back. Unfortunately, I think it was nice.
Yeah.
It was cool. I like watching highlights. Watching these guys like dominate in the paint. But right now, I see not too much focus, but I see the focus is on guards now, for sure.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a guard. Everybody wants a guard that can shoot, a guard that can facilitate.
I mean, this draft was basically a good example of this. Like example, Jalen Green, Kate Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, and
Evan Mobley was the third pick,
was
and right now
was the only big man that
he
was
is turning up in Cleveland right now. So he's making a good case for big men being.
even Scotty Barnes
really
is a
legit.
wing, is a perimeter wing. So I would that's kind of an example of what we're going towards, like what teams are looking for. Analytics basically saying, shoot the 3 or get a layup, kind of it.
Right, that's
So,
what I'm seeing right now. So I just don't
But-
see the big man coming back.
Yeah, I mean that's all I wanted to say for the basketball theory positions. I mean, we might bring it back for another thing. We don't. This is kind of like an impromptu thing because I really
Yeah, we
wanted
just
to talk
thought
about
of it
big
like
men.
a few minutes before we hit the record
Yeah,
button.
basically because I just wanted
So
to talk
we'll see
about
if it
the
comes back.
big man stuff. But yeah, I mean that's really it. Hopefully we can get rhythm going again. Hopefully with Christmas break coming along, we have more time to iron out some stuff and also, get back into rhythm
Get back
again.
into it, yeah. I
Because
mean,
our
we're
2
in,
week,
we're in finals right now, so
Yeah.
it's a little difficult, but we're trying. We're trying to have a formalized schedule.
honestly, that 2 week hiatus did make me feel like I really want to get back into this again. So I'm ready to get back into this.
Yeah,
So y'all have anything else to say?
I think we're good.
All right, I will see y'all next week. Hopefully, even though the finals, we'll hopefully see y'all next week.
Yes, sir.
Peace out.